sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session, hour 106.
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is discord, union. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life.
Love and hate can never be friends. Oh no, oh no. Here I come with love and not hatred. Show me goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Give me no one, no wish to be with no evil man. For then come the day when we'll be free like a bird. The roots children. Oh yeah. Because the children. My name is anointed. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Give me the one, no wish to be with no evil man. For then comes the day when you'll be free like a bird. With a good children. Oh yeah. With a good children. Forgive us, forgive us. My head is anointed, and my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Indeed, the one glorious to be with no evil pain. For then comes the day when you'll be breathing by the fire's hand. Difficult children. Oh, yeah. Even persecuted. My head is anointed, and my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow I all the days of my life.
Here I Come. That's one title used to identify this recording. Others will tell you it's called Love and Hate by Dennis Brown. We're still in the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the first day of the second month of 2024. It's the start of Heart Month and Reggae Month activities here in Jamaica, where Restorative Justice Week activities will get underway in a few days, even as Black History Month celebrations continue in the United States of America, Canada, the United Kingdom, and the Netherlands. It's Confederal Agreement Day in Senegal, Federal Territory Day in Malaysia, San Cecilio Day in Spain, and St. Bridget's Day in Montserrat. It's World Read Aloud Day and World Interfaith Harmony Week activities coming up as well. It's the 67th anniversary of the birth of the Crown Prince of Reggae, Dennis Emmanuel Brown. Hoy es jueves, el 1 de febrero 2024, y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa, Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones, y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes, desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est jeudi le 1er février 2024 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutent où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un du souhait parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi, de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Thursday, the 1st of February, 2024, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
Surely goodness and mercy shall follow I all the days of my life.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:16 on Power 106.
Tune in every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, doing both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM. It's your source of information regarding U.S. immigration matters, combined with Power 106 FM's pioneer of diaspora broadcasting. Call in with your U.S. immigration queries and concerns on 876-9224-11225 or send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598 and get the answers you need for your U.S. immigration questions. That's Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. during Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm, only on Power 106 FM.
Oh yeah. Liverpool chill and oh yeah.
Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point, this is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, wherever, whenever. We acknowledge those who have dialed a designated number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States and the United Kingdom. Those in the US who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 631-359-8281. 631-359-8281. If you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330-606-0953, 0330-606-0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. And of course, There's one sure way of checking if you're having connectivity issues, that if you want to check your system, if you are having issues, especially when it comes to browsing, just open a browser like Google Chrome, for example. And if you're able to browse, it means you're good to go. If not, you might have just a small matter at hand to deal with, but nothing that can't be fixed in in quick time. But hey, if you don't have a Facebook account, no sweat. There's always YouTube. All you need is a smart device, whether it be a smartphone, tablet, computer, laptop, desktop, any one of those. Then you need internet connection. But more importantly, internet connectivity. And you have an opportunity to continue your browsing thereafter. In the meantime, let's welcome those who have joined us. Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9, as we said, from Moron Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. We're getting a view of the television monitor in the Hits 92 studio here at Broadcast House. I believe that is a live picture, and that has the attention of a number of listeners and viewers and Jamaicans in general at home and abroad, paying attention to that particular presentation. From all indications, there obviously will be at least one election in the immediate point. And then after that, we'll see what happens as far as the national election is concerned. But that seems to be an area of interest and focus right now. It's being carried live. I believe it is live from my vantage point where I'm seated looking at the monitor. And I think I see who the individual is at the lectern right now. From a distance, it looks like Desmond McKenzie, who is remonstrating and addressing a gathering at the moment. I recognize that building. I believe that is the Montego Bay Convention Center. And the caption on the television monitor, local government minister to make election announcement. And there's a sea of green in that space. And we'll see what happens. But that is getting the attention, it seems, from those who are listening, looking, watching, monitoring, and getting ready to hear the ultimate announcement. So we'll continue to monitor that. You should see the distance from which we are reading the captions on TV. What a difference a pair of glasses makes. So that's what is happening right now. The local government minister, Desmond McKenzie, still at the lectern. In the meantime, good afternoon to Faye Weller. She says, blessed afternoon, Mr. Dervan and faithful listeners. Let us give God thanks for life so we all can learn from each other. Thank you very much, Faye Weller, for those words of yours. And we also spare a thought for the members of the constabulary this afternoon and going forward. There are a couple of related, well, not related stories, but a couple of stories which would interest all of us, not least of all the members of the constabulary. And one of them is that a policeman has been mowed down in a highway hit and run involving another cop. That's one of the stories that is trending right now. A policeman remains in hospital after being seriously injured in a hit and run involving a motorist who turned out to be a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. The injured cop was mowed down during a traffic stop along the north-south highway last night. The cop suffered injuries to his head and other parts of his body and was rendered unconscious. The police report that about 11:40 p.m. on January 31st, a team was conducting vehicular checkpoint duties along the highway in Unity Valley, St. Anne, when the driver of a Toyota Probox motor car, who was reportedly traveling at high speed, was signaled to stop. The driver reportedly slowed down and then sped off, hitting the policeman in the process. The injured cop was taken to the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital, where he was admitted. Subsequent checks by the police revealed that the vehicle in question is owned by a policeman and that he was the one seen behind the wheel at the time of the incident. Get well wishes are in order for the policeman, and we trust we don't have any more, if any at all, of these situations unfolding on our streets here in Jamaica. Also doing the rounds, 57-year-old chef gunned down in Linstead. 50% reduction in JUTC bus fares for smart card users. And there's another story involving a police officer, and that's a tragedy. Former police inspector dies suddenly is the story that has been transmitted. And the information is that the sudden death of former police inspector Michael Smith has plunged the St. Catherine North Police Division into mourning. Smith was at his home in Horizon Park, St. Catherine, on Wednesday evening when he complained about feeling ill. A family member found him unresponsive and took him to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Smith was a veteran of the defunct Island Special Constabulary Force and the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Smith is among a number of former police personnel who passed in January 2024. Condolences to family, friends, colleagues, neighbors. Public sector NHT mortgagers now able to receive contribution refunds in cash. This is one of those stories that hasn't made the news just yet in a significant way, but now coming into focus because people have been asking. Members of the NHT contributors have been asking. So the story is arrangements are in place to allow public sector workers who are National Housing Trust NHT mortgages to receive contribution refunds in cash during the current application period. Assistant General Manager for Corporate Communications and Public Affairs, Dwayne Burbick, says refunds would previously have been credited to individuals' mortgage accounts. And also, law imposing harder predial larceny penalties now in effect. There's a story of more than 500 pounds of ganja being seized in St. Elizabeth, and a farmer has been charged. And that's where we'll leave it for now. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Guard your health. If you're uninsured, don't wait to apply for health insurance. If employed, your employer may offer health insurance, including high deductible health plans that save on premiums. Look at quotes from different insurance providers to find the lowest rates. Research all your options to see if you qualify for a subsidy based on your income.
Government is all about. We have young people who have demonstrated the capacity to love politics. We introduced in Jamaica for the first time, never before in the history of local government. I invited the Prime Minister to come to KC, and we launched then the Youth Summer Employment Program. And colleagues, let me tell you this. This program has become the largest youth employment program in the Caribbean. More than 50,000 young people have gained benefit under this program. And over 300 of them have gained permanent employment across various municipalities in Jamaica. A first in local government. Andrew Holness government has done that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is of interest to note. The National Solid Waste Management Order, while I will say that we have not accomplished all that we want in terms of garbage collection, but the country must know that during the period before 2016, little or no investment was made in the National Solid Waste Management Order. They hardly have trucks. But you want to talk about one thing that they have stamped their class on is fire. During their period, we had more than 60 fires across landfills in Jamaica. They spent close to $750 million out in fires. You know how many trucks that money could buy during that period? And since we have come into office, we have put in the necessary systems to ensure that we minimize the effects of fire on the country. We're not here yet. We're expecting 50 more trucks to come. And I want to urge councillors, urge Jamaicans to let us take a different approach to how we dispose of our garbage. We, as residents, must play our part in helping to achieve that success. It can be done. We're going to be rolling out a new program that will take us to every nook and cranny of this country to speak to Jamaicans about the importance of working with us to make our country cleaner and better. We talk about the Jamaica Fire Brigade. Prime Minister, I wonder if you know that during their period of stewardship, they spent $650 million. Never said billion. $650 million on the Jamaica Fire Brigade island-wide. In our first 2 years in government, Prime Minister, your administration spent $1.4 billion in our first 2 years. And since that time, we have invested over $4 billion in the Jamaica Fire Brigade. Never in the history of that organization that is over 150 years old that they have benefited from a caring and understanding government of Prime Minister Andrew. We have seen where Staten have reported that 95.8% of Jamaicans don't need to find a job, Prime Minister. The policies of your administration are taken care of. But I want to tell you that local government has played a critical role in the productivity of the country. The local authorities, since 2016, and I'm not saying that all is where we want it to be in terms of the approval processing, but we have seen significant improvement over the last 8 years. And because of the measures that we have put in, strengthening the capacity of the local authorities, That is why productivity, peace, and prosperity is on the upward movement, because the local authorities contributed in terms of building approval process $1.6 trillion to the Jamaican economy under the leadership of Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Never before. And all these policies,
Sir? IGR is on an OB. We're taking their feed. So they're coming off in 15 seconds.
Okay.
So we need to come back to you and find another way to forget this. All right, so we have to come back to you now. Please go.
That we have accomplished all that we want.
You've been listening to the Minister of Local Government and Community Development, the Honorable Desmond McKenzie, addressing a meeting at the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James, Jamaica. And it's highly anticipated that the announcement for the local government election will be forthcoming in a matter of in a short period of time. So we'll see. We'll be listening out, and let's see how it all unfolds. In the meantime, feel free to communicate with us, 876-922-4112 to 5, 876-922-4112 to 5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And so we're going to return to the feed right now from the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James, where the local government and community development minister, Desmond McKenzie, is delivering his speech. Let's listen.
We have a leader that has demonstrated the capacity, the understanding to make and to take the right decisions. We do have a leader that is not sure. I know
Jamaicans, both here and abroad, officers, delegates, party workers, senators, ministers, members of parliament, MP caretakers, and the foundation of the representational arm of the Jamaica Labour Party, our councillors and councillors caretaker. You give me great pride as I stand from my vantage point and survey the Jamaica Labour Party. First of all, you look beautiful. You look organized. You look purposeful. You look ready. Today, whilst I am down on the agenda, I am not the main speaker. The Minister of Local Government has ceded some of his time to me to make a brief presentation in my style. There are some points that I want to quickly go through. First of all, we would have had this election long ago had it not been for a global pandemic, an event that is a 100-year event. No other government in Jamaica has had to treat with such a global pandemic. And we handled it very well. To the point where Jamaica seems to forget that we have had a pandemic. And so there is quite a bit of conversation going on without the context that we kept Jamaica safe, but more than that, we recovered Jamaica stronger than before the pandemic. In this business, nobody is going to give government credit. Government has to explain to the people. It is an eternal obligation for government to explain to the people the backdrop and the context of the challenges, the plans and programs and policies to overcome, and the successes that we have managed to achieve and that which will come in the future. We can't be shy about it. Our light cannot be under a bushel. All of you in here are candles for the Jamaica Labour Party. You represent the light of the Jamaica Labour Party, and you must shine in every corner of Jamaica. There has never been a government of Jamaica that has had so many achievements to go and face the people with. You are well armed to go and face the people of Jamaica for any election. You represent a government that with great challenges we have achieved. We don't need to go to the people with deception. And I tell you this, I gave last year an instruction to the Jamaica Labour Party communication arm that we must reform and revise our communications policy to take out of it false and deceptive information. You will not find the Jamaica Labour Party promoting, circulating, distributing false, degrading, nasty lies about people, programs, policies, or anything. We do not do that. And there are many members of the Jamaica Labour Party that I have had to personally call up We don't need to do that. When they go low, we go. We must communicate to the people the facts. And in this world of social media, where grievance politics and negativity sells, we have to work even harder to make sure that our story is in the forefront of the minds of the voter. So you face a difficult task, but you have to be constant. You have to be persistent, and you have to be consistent in giving the people the facts. As you prepare to face an election, it is important that you understand that you are part of a bigger picture. A pixel in a beautiful tapestry that is going to be created for Jamaica. You are an important part of it. And there is a mission that the entire organization is geared towards. And you need to understand that mission so that you can properly articulate the mission. When we started on this journey, and I assumed the leadership of the Jamaica Labour Party, I had to go and do some deep soul searching. Why did I want to become the leader of a country? Why would I dedicate my life to this? And I had to properly define it. I was born in Spanish Town, and I like to tell the story because I don't tell it enough. And there are people who are trying to tell my story, trying to define me. And I listen, I see all the lies they publish, all the falsehood and false narratives they carry. I don't always respond because I don't go through third parties. I talk directly to the people of Jamaica. When the people of Jamaica see me and hear me and touch me and feel me, they know I am real. I am from them. I am like them. I went through their struggles. I understand their struggles, and I'm true to them. I am your child. I am your son. I am your brother. I am your uncle. And now I could be your father. You are my family. So as I was shaped mentally, politically, by the experience of the 1980s, growing up on Cumberland Road in Spanish Town and then moving to Ensom City and witnessing and seeing political violence up front firsthand. Like thousands of Jamaicans having to walk to school because your mother never had the money to give you to take taxi, to come home and wash that uniform and iron it the next day. I know what it is not to have lunch money, but nobody in the world would ever know because even though I was poor, I was proud. So when I say I love the poor, but I hate poverty, you understand what I mean? So after I have done my soul searching about what I need to do for my country, what was the mission? The mission was to move Jamaicans from poor thinking, poor way of life, move Jamaicans from poverty to prosperity. It's not just my belief. One DJ said it far more eloquently than I could say it. Every ghetto youth is a star. And I want every ghetto youth to realize that dream. Not prosperity for some taponaris, not prosperity for some big shot, not prosperity for a few, but prosperity must be shared for all Jamaicans. Prosperity, therefore, was the mission to move Jamaicans from poverty to prosperity in a fair and equitable shared prosperity. Now, we recognize that to do that, we couldn't do it by ourselves. This room, though important and representing a significant part of the political capital of the country, we alone couldn't do it. And therefore, it was important that this message also be accompanied by another message: partnership. So as we reflected on our message as a political organization, we moved from poverty to prosperity to partnership for prosperity. That was 2016. You see that you are an important part of a movement. You are journeymen in this struggle to make Jamaica better. And in that partnership for prosperity, there are some elements that we have to deal with. In my 2013 or 2012, I believe it was, conference address, I said that the Jamaica Labour Party will end absolute poverty in Jamaica. It sounds like a lofty dream, but you know me. I've always been ambitious. If you know my story, I shouldn't be standing here. But for the grace of God, so I have to believe that we can end absolute poverty in Jamaica. And with that mission, and now having the political machinery to guide towards that mission and seeking to build partnership with the church, with the business communities, with the NGOs, we could come up with a plan. You ever wonder why we established the HOPE program? You ever wonder why it is that this administration has focused so directly on providing houses for those persons who live in substandard housing conditions? We estimate that there are about 6,000 of them in Jamaica, live in the worst condition. That is what you would describe as absolute poverty. When you see me go around every week almost, ensuring that a deserving family moves out of cardboard and ratted things
monitoring
into a proper structure that lifts your dignity.
Contractors, developers, and small builders. Contact Coast to Coast Group of Companies for high-quality concrete products. The time by Coast to Coast Group of Companies is
3 o'clock.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
Yes.
By virtue of the period of the 70s. That somehow everything can be free and immediate. What people need in order to maintain faith in a system.
I'll be sure to call you back if you
is
don't
hope.
call me back before I do.
And I'm sure that every Jamaican who is in need
Sure, no problem.
of
You
a
too.
social
Bye-bye.
house, an indigent house, sees a program that is established, properly funded, and well run. You don't hear anything about it like how you used to hear about Operation Pride, which should really have been called Operation Disgrace. So they know that we are coming, we are working, we are building, we are doing it. When I said to Minister Charles, listen, when I go around, people complain bitterly about the PATH program. That should be the flagship program for ensuring that we lift people out of absolute poverty. I'm happy to see that Minister Charles has now started the consultations for the reform of the PATH program to ensure that the true beneficiaries who are out there who are not on that program will get on the program. You ever wondered why it is that we introduced something called the social pension? Where persons, I believe it is 75 and above, who were not contributing could get up a little money. That is to ensure that our elders are not caught in absolute poverty. You ever wonder why it is that we double the minimum wage? But the most important thing that we have done, the most important thing, and we do it because it is in our DNA. It is what makes us who we are. We have a Christian ethic that drives our political philosophy. And it says, by the sweat of our brow, we shall eat bread. That's who we are. It's a very powerful ethic. And that is what makes us proud, even if we're poor. And that is what makes us strong, and believe in independence, because we believe that we can convert our labor into value. We can use our labor to create wealth. That's what we believe. And so the greatest program, the greatest result of this government is to get our people employed. Starting a few days ago, released another record-breaking unemployment number, 4.2%. In my lifetime growing up, I have become used to double-digit unemployment. That is not something that anyone can undervalue and diminish. And it is something that this party must say over and over and over and over again. More people are employed in Jamaica now than any time before in the history of Jamaica. We have other challenges coming because of this full employment. I have avoided using the term full employment because, there are people who really, the slightest thing, they come and cloud the conversation with foolishness. And then it takes my time now to have to go and respond when I have other things to do. But really, we are at that technically in full employment. No doubt, there are some youngsters there that we need to bring in. There may be persons there we need to reskill and bring in. And we have started to put programs in place. We have been anticipating that to bring them in to the system so that we can get the benefit of their labor to continue the growth of the economy. But bear this in mind. When you put someone in a job, that is the most effective way of ending absolute poverty. It will not happen overnight, but if you allow it to continue, if the electorate is discerning of what we are doing and understand what we are doing and see the pathway to it and don't get diverted as they were diverted in the 70s. We could have been like Singapore, but we wandered off into fancy and rhetoric. Singapore now has a GDP that is higher than most developed countries. A country that was colonized. They're not better than we. They may have made better choices than we have. Jamaica needs a long runway, and we need to stick to that runway to make sure that the benefits of the policies that are in place can be realized. So, when we faced the electorate in 2020, the high-level message was still there. Partnership for prosperity. But you couldn't face the electorate without understanding the pandemic. And therefore, the message then was recovering stronger. That was the message, recovering stronger. The message that people understood. And then we changed the message close to the end of the campaign to just stronger. Because the truth is, and it continues to be, that this government, this Jamaica Labour Party government, this Andrew Holness-led government is stronger than any other government that has been in Jamaica. Then we moved as the stronger recovery was there for all to see. But as a result of the pandemic, we had a fallout in the global supply chain, which precipitated massive inflation. Then we had a war in Europe. I mean, can you imagine one government in a small country just recovering from an economic crisis, having to deal with all of these things? But we dealt with it. Because pound for pound, man for man, when you look at the Jamaica Labour Party's cabinet for the government, it is far superior than anything else that is out there. And that is not just talk, that's substance of what has been delivered, which cannot be questioned. I don't have to go through with it. Reduction in debt, then how many quarters of consecutive growth that we have had, the reviews of the international rating agencies, the people who know about economics, what they say about what Jamaica has done. But there you go. The essence of it all is that we are able to run the economy for 8 years without saying to you, the consumer, pay more tax. Some people forget what it was like between 2013 and 2015. But we must remind them when they open their mouth and talk all kind of nonsense. Now, there are some challenges. Everyone here in local government, when you go out into the field, you are going to be, I'm certain, accosted about roads. And the way in which the conversation about roads is carried. I mean, I sometimes have to shake my head because it is carried without context. And I'm just going through, I downloaded some articles about protests for roads, and I found a few of them interesting. I want to share one or two of them with you. This one is an article, April 29, 2013. Who was in power then? It says, St. Mary residents protest against bad roads, lack of water. Who was the MP for St. Mary Western? It says, KL St. Mary residents of Mile Gully, Georgetown and Jacksontown in this parish yesterday blocked the Dresiki main road in protest over what they said are very poor road conditions and lack of water in their communities. This is 2013. The residents used a large tree to block the road, disrupting the traffic flow for hours before it was cleared by the NWA. The member of parliament, which I won't name, for Western St. Mary at that time, in which the communities are located, said he has since requested an estimate for work to be done on the road from the NWA parish manager, which he will present to the Ministry of Transport and Works. He said the estimate was expected to be completed the next day. But while promising that he would do all he can to address the problem, here's what he said. The roads had not undergone major work since the mid-1980s. I raise this because the context within which the conversation is going on about roads and the protests is as if this just happened yesterday. I toured Hanover, and I said it before, a lady, a returning resident, she saw me in the market and she made sure in the strongest terms to register her disgust of not having water in Chesduck, a lovely community in Hanover. And I checked it out, and Chesduck has not had water for a long time. And there are many communities like that. I did point out the number of other communities that we are bringing water to, including a massive pipeline relaying in passing Berlin-Otte High School and several other major developments for water in the area. In other words, what the government can do in 1 year of budget pales in comparison to what has not been done for decades of neglect. But the frustration of the people is palpable, it's real. When you get up and you don't have water, you don't care about that context. You just want your water. No! You want the water now. And so as councillors and councillor caretakers, MPs and MP caretakers and people who represent, you have to appreciate the emotion of the problem first. So you have to agree, commiserate with them, but you would not have helped the situation if you didn't bring them to the contextual understanding of the problem. Because if you allow them just to vote on emotion, they will vote in a random way. And that is always a threat to democracy, the randomization of voting choice. To get over this randomization of voting, you have to have consistent and constant information flow about your plans, your successes, your achievements, and all that you're going to do to address the problem. And you must be respectful of the voters' feelings. So, I give you another one. I just wanted to do this because, you know, just listening to the conversation sometimes, it's you know, my duty is more than just seeking political office. My duty is to make sure that we elevate the political conversation. So I give you another one, which I found quite interesting. And listen to this one. It's taking a little time to load, but here it is. And Mrs. Holness would probably know about this one. 11 Miles residents protest dust nuisance, bad roads. When was this? No, when? Anybody can guess when this was? This was the 22nd of July, 2014, a special day for me, my birthday. You would have thought that it was last year or the year before when we started the South Coast Road Improvement Project. Yep. Angry residents of 11 Miles in Bull Bay, St. Andrew, yesterday took to the streets to protest the deplorable road conditions and long-standing dust nuisance that have been affecting their health. You see what I'm saying about the context and what you hear and what they put on social media? It's as if this just happened yesterday. This has been going on from 2014. But what is the difference? It's not just sufficient for me to come here and say, well, this has been going on, so therefore don't blame me. What's the difference? Well, let me tell you what's the difference. government that you have elected takes responsibility. In 2013 and 2014, they said they were going to do something about it. But which government has actually done something about it? We now have the Spark program.
Power 106 FM studio. Good afternoon.
That Chairman Montague, the member of parliament now for the era, he was the member of parliament then, will now have those residents, instead of them going out to protest, they can now participate in a new model of how public resources can be allocated, especially in these critical priorities of roads, to determine how the first tranche of $150 million that will be allocated to his constituency will be spent.
I'll give you the opportunity.
And it is highly likely
as soon as the other matters being dealt with now on air.
That road, what's it called? Mile Gully.
Broadcast
that road will be included on his priority list and be fixed. If it is not done,
sure,
the member of parliament has come to the Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation, under which the portfolio of works is located. And he is likely to make special representation. But that road is going to be fixed. And I see the council for the area, who was quoted in the article as well, that Jason James, that road will be fixed. Now, so the residents at 11 miles were complaining about us in 2014. When you look at that beautiful stretch of road that was now built, the South Coast Road Improvement Project, the people there in 11 miles and all of that stretch, they are seeing the benefits of a government that takes responsibility and acts. So the difference is that in times gone by, you were struggling without hope, without real prospects of change happening. And why was this? Because our economy was floundering. Now, because you made a good choice to put a good team in, to properly manage the economy without being a burden on you, but bringing more resources, we are now able to put in place long-term programs to address these long-standing problems. Why disrupt that? Why disrupt that? You have first, this is the largest ever allocation to repair roads. The largest ever. And, you know, I don't want to say everything here because I do have a budget speech to make. But I want to share with you one other thing, because, again, the conversation needs to be put into context. And I'll share this one with you. So this one is about health. And I see Minister Tufton here, and you will be very interested in it. Hear this one now. Head of the School of Public Health and Health Technology at UTech, Professor Winston Davidson, says the bed situation and the bed capacity in the 4 major government hospitals in Western Jamaica is now assuming crisis proportions. You know when this was said? This was said June 29, 2013. And he went on to, he said something that I found very interesting about the population increased by 40% since 1974 to now, and services have not kept pace with these demands. He spoke about the Cornwall Regional Hospital, that at that time he said was built 40 years ago. The Cornwall Regional Hospital has a bed complement of 417, and the rate of occupancy is 91%. In other words, it is a facility that is the main hospital in the Western region, which is almost always full. He said no major repairs have taken place in that hospital since it was built 40 years ago at the time. What is different now? Yes, we still have bed shortages. Yes, patients have to wait. We appreciate that, and we respect our people and we understand the struggle. But what is different is that for the first time in 40 years, because our economy is doing well, we are able to invest in healthcare in a big way. When you visit Cornwall Regional, when it is almost finished out, it is a total transformation. We have taken a building. We have spent billions of dollars on it to improve it. In addition to that, we are building the Western Child and Adolescent Hospital, which will increase capacity for service in the Western region. We are building and expanding a Type 5 clinic. I toured there a few weeks ago. And then look at Spanish Town Hospital, where we get so many complaints about the emergency room situation and the lack of beds and so forth. We are building a brand new wing, massive. Administrations before didn't do that and couldn't do that. They could only talk. So you are now in a totally different era of government. An era created by the Jamaica Labour Party. An era of stability and growth that needs to be continued in order to ensure that we achieve our mission of prosperity for all Jamaicans. I just use those 2 examples to try and bring the nation back to reasonable conversation about the challenges that exist. Getting closer now to local government, as we approach the people again to ask for their support. What is it that we are saying to them for this election? Again, the overall themes are still there. But now we say to the people of Jamaica, we are building for you and your community. Very important that you are a part of the equation. You, the people. And that mission is one that involves things like your parks, your community parks and national parks where you can go and recreate with your family. It was my great pleasure to officially launch the start of the Portmore Resilience Park. And when I passed through the Harmony Park in this beautiful parish and just see how it has transformed the space and how the people are transformed in that space. That's you in the equation. That's the building your community. That's the fire stations that we have built. St. Thomas, Hanover, all over, new fire stations. It's the new police stations that we have built. It's the schools that we are upgrading. And we want to continue to build for you and your community. But I know that as young people, and some of you travel, many of you watch TV, and you see the infrastructure in other countries. They look modern. You don't see nothing. Everything straight and clean. And you say, well, I've been a one stay because the quality of life that I am enjoying here, I want to enjoy a better quality of life.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 3:30. Coronation Bakery, bakers of good quality breads, buns, rolls, and pastries for over 50 years. Coronation Bakery, available in leading supermarkets island-wide. So don't forget to get the best, the tastiest pastries at Coronation 3824. Coronation Bakery, the name of good quality. Welcome to your legal corner on Power 106 FM, your source of information for all matters regarding U.S. immigration. Call in with your questions and concerns on 876-922-4112.
It's Thursday afternoon, just after 3:30, and that means time for Your Legal Corner with U.S.-based immigration attorney Dahlia Walker Huntington, here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. And let's get straight to it and say hello, good afternoon, and welcome to our host on Your Legal Corner today, U.S.-based immigration attorney, Dahlia Walker Huntington. Good afternoon. Welcome. How are you?
Afternoon, Dervan. I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks. And thank you very much for joining us as we take a look, first of all, at the United States, what is it? United States Customs and Immigration Services, USCIS. No?
Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS.
I beg your pardon. Right. So I was reading about the adjustments in certain immigration and naturalization fees, and I think you had mentioned it before. Now, anyway.
Yes, we've been talking about it for over a year. But the actuality is that the fee increase is going to go in effect on April 1st of this year. Now, interestingly, Dervan, a couple of things are actually going down. So when you have a green card, the green card is valid for 10 years. If you don't become a citizen, you have to file to replace the card. Or if you've lost the card or so, you have to file to replace it. So those fees are actually going down. Surprisingly, if you file online, it's going to go down by $125. If you file a paper filing, it will also go down by $75. So that's very interesting. So if your green card is coming up for renewal, you can apply about 90 days before if you want to. to save $100 or so, you can play the game and wait to till April 1st to file. But others certainly will want to try to file ahead of time, so ahead of that April 30th deadline. So, for example, if you are anybody who is filing for a family member who is outside of the country, the first thing you file is an I-130. That cost is going to go up. Currently, it's $535. It's going to go up to $675 if you're filing a paper filing, and if you're filing online, it's going to go up by $625. So in one instance, it's going to go up $140. Another, it's going to go up $90.
Mhm.
So if you're filing for more than one person, that can become significant.
Mhm.
So something to take under consideration. Now, if you're in the U.S. and you qualify for adjustment of status, and you're filing the full package, the current filing fees is $1,760. It's gonna go up to $2,115 after April 1st. So that's a significant increase of about $355. Again, if you're filing for more than one person, that can really become significant. You also, if you have a green card, you're currently paying $680 to do that. It's going to go up to $750. Right?
Mhm.
Interesting to note, though, Dervan, on the schedule of fees here,
Mhm.
is that USCIS asked for more money in some cases, and the final fee is less than what they asked for. So, for example, to remove the condition that is currently $680, they had wanted an increase of $1,195, but they only got an increase to $750, a $70 increase. So, interesting to note. Many other forms have been increased, not by much. The citizenship application that is currently $725 is going to $760. Right? So not a lot, a $35 increase. And this information is available on the USCIS website with a plea on there, or an information on there that the fee goes into effect on April 1st. So you govern yourself accordingly. But that's kind of where it is right now.
Oh, so it is.
Yes.
And are there certain conditions to be considered in the process itself?
Well, no. You know, everybody, there are certain forms that you can request a fee waiver. But we won't get into that. Certainly not if you're filing for somebody in Jamaica. But it's just a foreshadowing to anyone who anticipates filing this year or thinking about it, that one of the considerations to take under advisement is that the fees are going up in April. There hasn't been a fee increase for quite a number of years. And one of the issues that USCIS complains about is that they're a fee-driven agency. So the last time the fees had increased, could be about 6 or more years now. It was a significant increase, and the whole basis for the increase was that they were going to provide better service to the public. And we know from talking about the timing and how long people have to wait, that did not materialize. Mm-hmm. So no, they're just saying that they're having a hard time coping with a fee only thing. They don't get money from Congress to run the agency. They have to provide services. But I dare say if they would speed up the process, if they'd find a way to streamline their internal processes, speed it up, they would certainly make a lot more money than they are making right now. But it's a very, very cumbersome agency to work with.
I can well imagine. Listeners, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Your Legal Corner with US based immigration attorney Delia Walker Huntington, taking your calls on 876 922 4112 to 5.
You sure you don't want to interrupt the program to make an announcement? My phone is going crazy.
Oh, so you have heard that announcement. So why not then? Well,
Yes. My phone.
all right, can we get a bit of that then? Well, the information has already been circulated, is being circulated. So the listeners and viewers at home and abroad, we pause for what we call breaking news. Nomination day is February the 8th, and election day the 26th of February. So as you would imagine, once those announcements are made, there's a flurry of activity and excitement at the venue.
We are committed to the process. Nomination day is February the 8th. And the day we continue with the Jamaica Labour Party in control is February the 26th, is election day.
So there you have it, the announcement of the local government elections, the 8th of February, nomination day, election day, the 26th of February. So make a note of those dates so that if you had other events pending on those dates, you can make adjustments. That's the news of the day, and will be the news for a little time, and we will begin to see a ramping up of campaigning, etc. And we'll see how it goes. So it's now well known and is spreading as we speak. Nomination day, the 8th of February, election day, the 26th of February. And that's for local government elections right here in Jamaica. Thank you very much for staying in touch, and we'll see how it goes. In the meantime, though, we want to clear some of these messages as well. But just a reminder that if you have any questions at all to do with U.S. immigration, because that's what it is about, if you have any questions at all as it relates to U.S. immigration, this is the program, Your Legal Corner, 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number for Your Legal Corner, 876-279-8598. 876-279-8598. And US-based immigration attorney Delia Walker Huntington standing by for more of your questions in relation to US immigration. 876-922-4112-5. Where do we start with this one now? Let's see. The This one says, I renewed my passport recently, but my US visa in the old passport will expire in 2026. Can I use the visa in the old passport to travel with my new passport? Thanks in advance. I think I know the answer to that, but I'm not the expert on these matters.
No. But we've been doing this for years. Yeah, the answer is yes. You can.
Yes.
You should. You have to
Yes.
travel with both passports.
Yes, indeed.
The expired and the new.
Mm-hmm. All right, here's another one for you, Ms. Dahlia. Good day, Ms. Dahlia and Mr. Dervan. Filed for by my spouse. Did interview and medical. However, needed joint sponsorship, which was sent in from August. Haven't heard anything. So, sent in a public inquiry, missed a call from a private number, which said from the embassy, and that I should call. Does the embassy call applicants?
Sometimes they do. If you get a call, the embassy calls. They call you for various reasons. So they should return the call, and they should also check online where they registered for what's it called, courier service, to see the status of the application, because sometimes it will say visa issued or pending or so. So definitely don't sit around and wait. Get on that.
All right. Oh, let's take a break and come back with more on this week's edition of Your Legal Corner with U.S.-based immigration attorney Dahlia Walker Huntington.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:46 on Power 106.
Coronation Bakery, bakers of good quality breads, buns, rolls, and pastries for over 50 years. Coronation Bakery, available in leading supermarkets island-wide. So don't forget to get the best, the tastiest pastries at Coronation Bakery. Visit 18 West Street, Port Antonio, or contact 876-993-3824. Coronation Bakery, the name of good quality. A tip for safe and responsible gambling. Set time limits to control how much time you spend gambling. For information on responsible gambling, call RISE at 888-991-4146. A message from the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission. You're listening to Your Legal Corner, your source of information on all matters regarding U.S. immigration. You can call in with your questions and concerns on 876-922-41125. You can send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. Now, back to Your Legal Corner during both sides of the story on Power 106 FM.
And we continue with today's edition of Your Legal Corner with U.S.-based immigration attorney Dahlia Walker Huntington. Any U.S. immigration issues, questions, concerns, uncertainties that you have, please feel free to call. If you're not clear on whether it be a U.S. immigration matter, well, that's basically the area of focus anyway. U.S. immigration matters. Once it has to do with U.S. immigration, you have a question, you have concerns, you have an issue, you need a question answered or a matter cleared up based on the professional advice of Dahlia Walker Huntington. So this is the program, this is the time. Here are the numbers: 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number for Your Legal Corner, 876-279-8598. 876-279-8598. And I haven't asked you for a little while now, Miss Dahlia, how things are going from our end, so to speak, as in the U.S. Embassy in Jamaica and the pace at which
I don't have the actual dates that are being that are available this week, but I can say that the time has been cut back. I mean, it used to be like 2 years, and so it's cut back drastically. And if you do have an emergency, they will entertain. You asking to come in earlier than the date that they've given you. And usually it's a medical emergency or to attend a funeral or some such thing, not a regular vacation. So the key is to still plan ahead. And persons are seeing when they apply to renew that sometimes they get called in for an interview if they have questions. So you can expect that as well.
All right. Here's a message. This one, Ms. Delia says, I'm living in Jamaica and I'm a Jamaican citizen. How do I file my tax return as a beneficiary?
Oh, I don't understand that at all.
Me neither.
I'm assuming they're talking about U.S. tax return. I would suggest that they contact a U.S. accountant, CPA, to ask tax questions. Not my area at all. And we've worked on this program with Mr. Larry Mullins over the years. So they can call my office and ask for Larry Mullins' number or Google him and get Larry's number. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but certainly he has offices in Jamaica as well as in the U.S., and he can assist with U.S. tax questions.
All right, this is your legal corner with U.S. immigration attorney Delia Walker Huntington. She's taking your calls, answering your questions, and here's another one for you, Miss Delia. The person is on the line. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Yes, good afternoon to you.
Oh, hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I have a question here for Dilla.
Sure, go right ahead.
Hold on, let me take my earpod out. Sorry.
So any questions at all to do with U.S. immigration, you've come to the right place. 876-922-4112-5. Let's go back to the caller. Yes, please.
I'm right here now, ready. So my niece, she just actually did her interview, got her papers to travel up, but she was pregnant during the time when she did her interview. Now she had the baby, and the baby's only a month old. How is she going to be able to travel with that child? What are the steps that she needs to do in order to have the baby accompany her?
Okay, so as coming up as a green card holder, there is a special provision for you to bring a child. So the first time she enters, she has to make sure to take the child when she's going up. She will be, there are specific forms that are to be completed, but there's a process. She can go on the USCIS website, uscis.gov, to try to figure it out. Green card holder traveling with a child for the first time, or she can contact an attorney to assist her, but she shouldn't leave the child.
Older than
because I assume she did not. So there's something called follow to join, but this baby was not in existence when the paperwork was done. So she needs to be careful to ensure that she don't have to turn around and file for the baby.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So it's uscis.gov, or she hires an attorney to assist her.
Alrighty. Thank you. And your telephone number in Jamaica?
Yes, we will give it out at the end of the program. I'll give out all my numbers. All right, thank you.
I thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Alrighty.
This is your legal corner with U.S.-based immigration attorney Delia Walker Huntington, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line for your legal corner, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-279-8598, 876-279-8598. And yet another question for Delia Walker Huntington. This one says, good day. Can you tell at what age a child, an American citizen, can file for her mother? And how long would the filing take? Also, if I'm married, would that pose a problem? Please advise.
Okay, so you have to be 21 years old, an American citizen, to file for your parent. The parent is considered an immediate relative.
She is a citizen. She did add that belatedly.
Yes.
Right. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. So as a citizen, 21 years old, you can file for your parent. And the parent is an immediate relative, which means that they get processed as quickly as possible. But now that is more like 1 to 2 years. And the mother being married is not an issue. As a matter of fact, if the mother married before the daughter was 18, the daughter can also file for her stepfather. Right? So had to have been married before the daughter was 18 for the daughter to also be able to file for her stepfather. But if it doesn't matter, it does not change the mother's ability to be considered an immediate relative and to travel.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Delia. We have another call for you. This is your legal corner with U.S. immigration-based attorney Delia Walker Huntington. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yes, my name is Lawrence Fletcher. Good afternoon. And,
Good afternoon.
Yes. I usually work for the U.S. Navy until I migrate to the United States. And I got married up there. My entire family there. But
okay,
it's happened that the marriage went down after over how many years. So I divorced. I didn't have anywhere to stay, invest in a home. So I had to come home. I come home, I cannot help myself because I'm legally blind. So I marry again. Out here is rough, expensive, everything is very expensive. And I want to come back up.
How long have you been in Jamaica now?
I'm here since 17. I think it's about August 17.
Okay. So, and you never got your citizenship?
Yes, I'm a citizen.
Oh, so if you're a citizen, you just buy a ticket and come back. Not a problem. If you're an American citizen, it don't matter how long you stayed out of the country, you can just purchase a ticket and return.
Oh, yes.
You have a valid passport?
Yes.
Okay. So you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, but I have a problem. I'm legally blind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm partially helpless.
Okay.
But, I want to come back up because the medical condition out here is terrible.
Right. So that's not a problem. You have another issue?
Beg your pardon?
But so that's not a problem. You're entitled to come to the United States. You're an American citizen. How old are you?
I am 76 September gone.
Okay, so there are benefits that you can apply for to assist you when you come up. You go to the Social Security office and you apply for benefits. Even if you have not paid into the system, if you didn't work and pay into the system, you can still apply for some benefits. If you work and paid into the system, then there are benefits there. Your Social Security benefits are there. So I'm not getting what is your problem. Is it that you want to bring your new wife with you?
That's right. That's the problem because I cannot actually.
Okay, so but you didn't say it. You didn't say it. I had to guess. So
Yes,
you need
no,
to apply for your
I was
wife
getting there.
for a
I was
green
getting
card.
there.
Okay. Well, we're coming up on the end of the program. So what you need to do is apply for your wife for a green card.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
And at the time, you leave her and come to America and wait for her to come, or you stay in Jamaica and at the time of the interview, you demonstrate that you're going to be moving to the United States with your wife.
but I'm helpless. Partially helpless.
But you're going to be moving with your wife. So Sarah, understand that you can't function without having somebody around. So you need to apply for your wife. Part of the requirements is that you're supposed to be in America when the second phase of the filing happens. You are going to show the embassy that you will be leaving Jamaica to come to America once your wife gets her green card, so the two of you can travel out.
So where I need to go now to the embassy out here?
Pardon me?
Where do I need to go now to do all those transactions? To the embassy?
You have to do it online. You have to begin online at the USCIS website, or you have to hire a lawyer to do it for you.
One moment, please, Ms. Delia. Let's take this time signal and come back and wrap.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
And you're listening to the closing stages of today's edition of Your Legal Corner with U.S.-based immigration attorney Delia Walker Huntington. Ms. Delia, we still have quite a few messages to clear, but if you're able to, I don't know, or we'll wait until next week.
I can give you 5 more minutes.
Okay, 5 more minutes. So here we go. Quickly. Good afternoon. What are the requirements for someone from US to invite a 13-year-old family member to visit during summer holidays from school?
Just that you're sending a letter inviting them to come for the summer, and that you'll be paying for all of their expenses, and make sure they have a letter from school to indicate how much longer they have in school. Now, doing all of that, they don't must have to give the child a visa. They don't have to.
Okay.
So you go through the motions, you send a letter, make the visa application, send a letter, get the letter from the school, and the child gets taken in for the visa interview. And it's up to the embassy if they're going to grant it.
Okay. Another one quickly. Hello. I've been documentarily qualified since June 15 of last year. However, to date, have not received an interview date. I'm unmarried. Someone I know received DQ in October and got an interview date already. Spouse overseas had filed for the individual.
Yeah. So you can't compare yourself to the beneficiary of a spouse visa of a husband or wife filing. This person says that they're unmarried. So I'm assuming that a parent filed for them. You can be documentarily qualified and there's no visa available for you. And then you could be documentary qualified, a visa available for you, and there's no space for your interview. Right? So you can't compare yourself to the wife of an American citizen filing for her.
Another one. Sorry. Yes, quickly. Good afternoon, Delia. My brother was filed for when he went for the interview. He was turned down because his police record shows that he was convicted and served time. But it happened more than 17 years. Or what can he do?
Well, when the person was denied, they should have been given a sheet that says that they, under what section of the Immigration and Nationality Act, they were inadmissible to the United States. and that they may qualify for a waiver. So the person needs to take that document to an attorney to investigate what the charges are, what the section of the law that they're inadmissible under, to tell them whether or not there's a waiver available. And then they have to decide if they're going to apply for the waiver.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll throw in one last one for the time
Okay.
being. This one says, "Good afternoon. I trust that you and Mr. Malcolm's day was a good one. I have a question. My fiance went to visit her family in the States and met in an accident. Based on the doctor's report, she won't be able to travel back home until about 6 months. She's worried because she did not plan to stay that long and does not want to overstay on her visitor's visa. What can she do in this case?"
She should immediately apply for an extension of stay. Immediately. Don't wait until it's close to the time that she got to stay in the States to expire. She needs to now file a request for an extension of stay and provide the evidence on how she's going to support herself while she's there, and apply for the time so that she don't overstay.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we'll have to cap it here and ask that you use the opportunity to remind us of the contact information.
Sure. To reach me in the United States, it's 954-963-8555, 954-963-8555. And to reach me in Jamaica, it's 876-969-9666, 876-969-9666, or 925-0949. All right, Dervan, thank you. Looking forward to next week.
Thank you too. All the best.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. And that's it for this week's edition of Your Legal Corner with U.S.-based immigration attorney Dahlia Walker Huntington.
You've just listened to Your Legal Corner, your source of information for all matters regarding U.S. immigration. Join us next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for Your Legal Corner during both sides of the story, right here on Power 106 FM.
Love and hate can never be friends. Oh no, oh no. Here I come with love and not hatred. Show the goodness and mercy shall follow I all the days of my life. Envy no one, no wish to be with no evil.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and it's time for us to clear some of these messages that are queued up, lined up. We're going to try and do that now before we tell you about a new TVJ series. So keep listening out for that one. A new TVJ series. We'll tell you more in our next segment. But right now, let's clear the messages. This one says, "Greetings and blessings to you, Mr. Dervan Malcolm. Over these many years, I've been listening to you. You are one of the brightest and intelligent persons who have graced who has graced the world. Your dear mother was very proud of you. You speak so many languages. We are very proud of you. You are a valuable asset to Jamaica. At our stage in Jamaica, we should be speaking at least 3 languages fluently, with our tourism industry growing rapidly, with tourists visiting from all over the world. Having said all this, I know you are going to say, you're so kind. At the time, you don't suffer fools gladly and correct them subtly. Give people roses when they are still around, not when they are gone, because they don't know what's going on. Thanks for reading. More blessings to you and your dear family. Thank you very much for your WhatsApp message. Thank you. And let's see who else. This one says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. I heard Simon calling out the names of some people who were connected with NNN Radio and also Mrs. Malahu Fort and Ronnie Thwaites, who were a part of Power 106. He omitted from the NNN radio list Fable McGlashan, Fable Williams, who was the chair for the station and gave up the post just before entering the JLP in an active position. Angie. Well, so it is. People go where the opportunities are, and if they're so inclined, they can change positions as well and pursue other ends. So there it is. Thank you for your message. This one says, Dervan, though you haven't heard from me so far this year, I've been listening but not able to message you. Just a quickie. Think they do BHM in UK in October. Oh, Black History Month in October in the UK. Okay. And yeah, thank you very much. Ridley says, them have no shame. 76% turnout in this election. People going, send them a message. Good God, man, says Ridley. And let's see who else is messaging us. Who is this now? All right, someone trying to get my attention here. All right, we'll check on this message and get back in a little while from now. But we have to keep it moving for the time being. There's a voice note we haven't been able to audition. We also see a message from Calvin in North York, Ontario, Canada. And right, so those are just some of the messages, or pretty much. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, those are all the messages so far. So keep those messages coming in, keep those calls coming. 876-922-4112-5. As we said, coming up, there is a new TVJ series that we want to share with you in a little while from now. Ricardo in Glengough, St. Catherine is tuned in as usual. Thank you very much, Ricardo, for tuning in. And all the very best. I think there's one message we weren't able to get through on today's edition of Your Legal Corner. We'll have to deal with that next week, all things being well, but it had to do with the H2B program. So for the person who sent it, feel free to resend it a week from today so that you'll be in a more informed position on that matter. Let's look at the text line, same as the WhatsApp number. This one came in just over a day ago. Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. I'd like to get to Mr. James Francis, the trade unionist. I know he listens and calls this program often. My name is Lewis, and Lewis has given us his number. All right. We'll do our best to forward your number to Mr. James Francis. Richard in Yonkers, New York, says Dervan, excellent programming. Richard in Yonkers, New York. Good to hear from you, Richard in Yonkers, New York. And, that's one of the places in New York that we really like. Yonkers. There's something about Yonkers. And so that's another of the messages. So we're going to take the break in a matter of seconds, and then we'll come back to tell you all about the new TVJ series, The Johnsons. Stand by for that on this afternoon's edition of Both Sides of the Story.
Liverpool children. Oh yeah. Give up as a children. My head is anointed and my cup runneth over. Yeah. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow I all the days of my life.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15. Coronation Bakery, bakers of good quality breads, buns, rolls, and pastries for over 50 years. Coronation Bakery, available in leading supermarkets island-wide. So don't forget to get the best, the tastiest pastries at Coronation Bakery. Visit 18 West Street, Port Antonio, or contact 876-993-3824. Coronation Bakery, the name of good quality. It's here, it's there, it's everywhere. It's onespotmedia.com. Watch your favorite local program or listen to your favorite radio station from anywhere in the world on your tablet, smartphone, or personal computer. Download the app now and keep up to date with your favorite local programs on TVJ. Check us out at onespotmedia.com. Follow us on Instagram, facebook.com/onespotmedia, and subscribe now. OneSpotMedia.com. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and good afternoon to those tuned in and listening. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. As you heard us previewing, there's a new TVJ series. It's called The Johnsons. And we're going to learn more about this series through our guests. We would like to welcome, first of all, the writer of The Johnsons, Deborah Binns. Good afternoon to you. How are you?
Hi, Dervan. I am good.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us. And congratulations on this new TVJ series.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And we should also say hi and welcome to the actress who plays the role of Trixie, Susan Edwards. Good afternoon to you and welcome. How are you?
Hi, Dervan. I'm great. How are you?
I am fine, thanks. So, Deborah Binns, you're the writer. It's one thing to come up with an idea, to write a poem, to write a story, to write a script. It's another thing to then pursue the other elements in terms of the actual recording of the production and putting it on television. That can't be easy. So we want, if you don't mind, for you to share with us your journey as far as this project is concerned.
Sure, Dervan, happy to. This journey began actually almost, I would say, 8 or 9 years ago.
What?
When, as far back as that, the Johnsons originally started out as a stage production.
Oh.
And it was quite successful, and I think a few members of the TVJ family came to view it. And shortly after, I entered into negotiations with them to have it be produced as a television series. Unfortunately, at the time I was involved in a 9 to 5 job, and time didn't allow for me to be a part of that. So it got delayed until now. Here we are. What will be will be.
Yes. And Susan Edwards, how did you come to be playing one of the roles on the Johnsons in the character of Trixie?
Hi, Dervan. Thanks for having me on. It's actually Susie, not Susan. I think that's an error, but that's fine.
Sorry, it's Susie, you said?
It's Susie.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Not a problem. It was very interesting. I was actually sitting at home, trying to figure out what to do with my life at the moment, and the phone rang, and it was Deborah. I have never spoken to this lady before, and she said she got my name from a mutual friend, and he would like me to play the role of Trixie for this television show. And I'm like, me? I'm like, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. We had a talk, and at the end of the conversation, Deborah said, okay, you're Trixie. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? So, yeah, and it has been such a wonderful journey, getting to learn how everything happens and how things work behind the scenes. It's very interesting.
Yes. So, Deborah Binns, how does one put together such a production without being either really fatigued or otherwise just taken up in such a way that you perhaps struggle to complete the program or the project because of all? I'm just wondering if that has been your experience, or it has been smooth sailing.
Smooth sailing, yes, to a point. Dervan, when you get down to the nitty-gritty of producing a TV series that contains 13 episodes, you cannot do it by yourself. That's virtually impossible. The creating part is actually the easiest part for me. Having to work with so many people was a struggle, and in times of difficulty, when I had to attend to personal demands, it was hard. It was hard. But the persons who I had on board and who had asked me to be a part of the production itself, they're very, very competent. They're very awesome people, and I really appreciate that TVJ came on board 100% without hesitation to have this series become a reality.
Yes. And Susie Edwards, can you tell us what you have learned about your character, Trixie? I mean, without giving away too much going into the season.
All right, let's just put it this way. Trixie is mischievous. Let's just put it that way. That's the best way to put it. She gives a little trouble, but she is fun, and she's just, she's out there. She's not a regular helper. Let's put it that way.
I see. And Deborah Binns, in terms of the matching the potential characters, for example, matching the potential characters with the actual role players, how has that worked out for you in terms of the dynamics?
It worked out quite well. I didn't have any issues selecting the cast members. That was pretty easy. A lot of them, their work, the work that they did spoke for itself. And I think the staff at TVJ, with a little nudging here and there, a little suggestion here and there, it wasn't hard to decide who I wanted on the series. Some of them I have never met. Sabrina Thomas, Tashana Lamont, and her brother Colin. I've never met them before, but they actually had worked with TVJ previously. and it was a goal. You know, when I suggested that they can play certain roles, TVJ said yes. You know, we have experience with them. They're great actors, great people, and you know, they didn't have a problem with them being on board.
Mm-hmm. And Susie Edwards, in terms of your role, how close to your personality is your role?
Okay, don't answer, Susie. Don't answer. Let's put it this way. It's almost too close. Very close. Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
I can hear that already.
Dervan, I did not hire Trixie. I hired Susie.
I beg.
Yes, walk into the room.
I beg your pardon. So Trixie, what has life been like so far?
Pertaining to the show afterwards, regular. And I'm sure it's going to change a lot for all of us. After Sunday, most definitely. I think everyone really shines in the show. Each and every character. The talent is beyond amazing. So I'm really hoping that everyone enjoys and will become part of the household.
Yes.
Every Sunday.
Well, can you tell us who the other cast members are, and just give us an idea of the details? So it's when does it air, and so on.
All right. So we have Owen Ellis, otherwise known as Blacko.
Yes.
And he plays Cornelius Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
We have Rosemary Murray Hingling, who plays Crania. Mm-hmm. And we have Sabrina Thomas, who plays May. Shoshana Lamont, who plays Chlorine. And of course, myself. And then there's Colin Lamont, who plays Sugar. All right. Mm-hmm. And it's starting on Sunday, February 4th, on TVJ, of course. We get to TVJ at 8:30. So we want everyone to make sure that they are sitting in front of the television, getting ready to focus on the family of the Johnsons. It's a wholesome family comedy, and it has something for everyone.
I like the word wholesome. That yes.
Dervan, don't go to bed early on Sunday,
Careful how you set goat mouth on me, as they would say, because that happens sometimes. I just go off.
Sunday's a relaxing day, but don't miss it.
Yes, indeed. I'll if anything, I'll set the alarm on my smartphone.
Absolutely. Please make sure.
Yes.
And that goes for everybody else out there.
So that's 8:30 p.m. Sunday, the 4th of February.
Correct.
The first in the new TVJ series, the first of the first episode, the Johnsons.
Episode of the first season, of season 1. And one more thing to just make sure, we actually made history, Dervan, where we had recorded in front of a live studio audience. So that was also very, very, very special. To be a part of that, because that's going to go down in history, is something to behold. So we're all very proud, and we want to thank TVJ for making it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely. We join you in that regard. And so, in general terms, without giving away too much, if at all, if anything at all, what can we expect, or is it a case of wait until you see it? Don't worry about it.
No, go ahead. It is a little bit of, it's a classic sitcom. Mm-hmm. It's a classic sitcom, and it is going to be something where you're going to want to tune in every Sunday.
Mhm.
Because you want to know what mischievousness is going on in a Johnson household, you know? And especially Mr. Johnson, let me just give you a little highlight, not to give away too much, but
Yes.
Mr. Johnson is a retired sergeant from the Army sergeant, and he runs his household as if he is still in the Army.
Oh,
Right?
I like that.
I'm going to leave it right there.
Mhm.
Leave it right there.
Indeed. So how can we follow? Just every Sunday at 8:30, or will you be on social media as well?
Well, I know for sure, almost for sure, that we should be on One Spot Media as well.
Okay.
But every Sunday at 8:30, it's 13 episodes. So for the next 13 Sundays, please tune in. We will be there to make you all laugh.
All right. Well, we're definitely
ready to laugh.
well, we're ready. We are ready, and we're looking forward to 8:30 p.m. Sunday, the 4th of February, Television Jamaica, TVJ, The Johnsons. Thank you so much, Deborah Binns, a writer of The Johnsons, and Susie Edwards, playing the role of Trixie. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. And please make sure you watch.
Definitely. Looking forward. Take care.
Dervan. Have a good day.
You're
Thanks
welcome. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So there you have it. Deborah Binns, the writer of The Johnsons' new TVJ series, The Johnsons. And we also heard from Susie Edwards, an actress in her own right and playing the character Trixie.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:31 on Power 106.
If you know one pop down and fenke, you feel one mosquito and run the dengue. So no make water circle in wooden container. For them to read up under danger. Usher them out, run them away. Zap them with the zapper and dose them with spray. Use mosquito net and mosquito screen. Protect your household and make them come in. If you know one pop down and fenke, you feel one mosquito and run with dengue.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Liverpool children. Oh yeah.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, at 28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Good afternoon to all the students listening to us, all the schoolers from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. And parents and guardians, do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And here's your opportunity to comment on, if you choose so to do, to comment on the announcement that we heard today, the declaration, the announcements of nomination day, the 8th of February, and election day, the 26th of February. So if you have comments, by all means, feel free to call and Share with us your thoughts. What do you think? 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. 876-365-3346. Cherry Henry says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. Happy new month to you all. Same to you, Cherry Henry. Asher Ash says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Just tuning in from London, England. Welcome, Asher Ash. Natalie Winter says, watching from Washington Gardens, Kingston, Jamaica. Lots of respect. Thank you, Natalie Winter, for your message. Ricardo from Glengough, St. Catherine, sending us a few messages. Donna Anglin says, Mr. Malcolm, good evening. Always a pleasure listening. Thank you very much. Tanisha, or is it Tanisha? It could be Tanisha or Tanisha. Tanicia. How do you pronounce your name, your Christian name? Is it Tanisha, or Tanisha? It could be any one of those. Tanisha, Tanisha. She says, hi, hon. You look stressed today. Are you okay? Oh, really? Okay. I don't feel that way, though, so I don't know. But thank you very much for looking on favorably. And Ricardo says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan Malcolm. Good afternoon, Ricardo. And thank you for tuning in as usual. Good afternoon, viewers, he says. And thank God for life, says Ricardo. Donna Anglin says, GAF, Ricardo, bless up. GAF, Ricardo, bless up. Okay. Thank you very much for your message. And let's continue here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And you know, one of the things we like to do when we're on is to check up on the trending stories. And what we're seeing right now, Mackenzie urges voters to stick with JLP. Local Government Minister Desmond Mackenzie today called for Jamaicans to stick with the governing Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, when they cast their votes in the local government election. Also, of course, the story of elections, local government elections. The story says local government elections are to be held on February 26th, with nomination day being February 8th. Minister of Local Government Desmond Mackenzie made the announcement at the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James. And there's an update. Cop injured in St. Anne Highway, hit and run. Oh no, he has died. Oh no, terribly sorry. Terribly sorry to hear about that. We heard of the injury, but had no idea. Oh no. Our condolences. The story is the policeman who was mowed down during a traffic stop along the north-south highway in St. Anne has succumbed. He's Constable Roshane Lee, who was assigned to the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement branch. The police high command says it is saddened by Lee's death, who passed away in hospital today. It says its chaplaincy branch and its welfare department are providing support to the family members, friends, and colleagues of Constable Lee. Last night, he suffered injuries to his head and other parts of his body and was rendered unconscious. Oh dear. Our sincerest condolences. We had no idea the extent of the injuries. So sorry to hear. And in terms of the other stories, Port Maria Mayor Richard Crary says JLP will take St. Mary. Man charged for fatal Market Street, Montego Bay shooting. And Williams says JLP seeking to increase KSAMC margin by 3 more divisions. The Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, has ruled against Jamaica in a soap tariff case. The story is local soap makers are now faced with a dilemma of choosing duty-free inputs from the Caribbean community, CARICOM, described as unfit by some players, or pay a 40% duty to source similar items from Asia. This arose from Wednesday's ruling by the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, which upheld the duty on soap noodles, which are the raw materials used to make soap. The decision arose from the case brought by DCP Successors Limited out of Dominica against Jamaica. Already the major local player Blue Power Group said the ruling would result in changes, but declined to give details. So just a couple of stories to catch you up, to give you an update on some of the trending stories. Hubert Fowlin, good afternoon to you as well. He says a very blessed good afternoon to Mr. Dervan Malcolm, both sides of the story, and Power 106 FM and your listening audience. Good afternoon to you. And I'm still looking for a reply from Tanisha or Tanisha, however she pronounces her name, but not seeing any response just yet. So let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And as we stated at the start, it's the anniversary of the birth of the Crown Prince of Reggae, Dennis Emmanuel Brown. And how appropriate that this month has for some time now been dubbed Reggae Month, since the man who declared Dennis Brown the Crown Prince of Reggae was also born in this month, the legendary Robert Nesta Marley, OM. Reggae Month offers us another opportunity to reflect on how much more individuals like Dennis Brown can contribute to the rich cultural heritage of this country, even in death. Even in death. So we're once again urging members of the Jamaica Federation of Musicians, the Jamaica Association of Vintage Artists, Jamaicans all, the Maypen Cemetery is about 164 acres. I'm not sure how much of it is still vacant, but we've been thinking, and we've asked the question before through the years, what is preventing us from demarcating a section of the Maypen Cemetery as the final resting place for our reggae exponents, so that when people come to the land of reggae music, they can tour the cemetery, visit the shrine or mausoleum of Dennis Brown, Peter Tosh, Gregory Isaacs, Alton Ellis, Phyllis Dillon, listen to their music, read their life stories, hear from persons who worked with these artists, and possibly view films or videos of past performances. What we're asking for is a reggae cemetery, a place where reggae lovers from all over the world can come and pay homage to these giants of reggae music. Let us have a reggae cemetery. We wouldn't necessarily charge tourists, local or foreign, to visit this reggae cemetery, but perhaps ask for a contribution for the upkeep of the reggae cemetery. You'd be surprised at how many people worldwide who have been touched by reggae music, who would be prepared to draw checks to ensure the upkeep of the final resting place of their favorite reggae artist. So, as we remember Dennis Emmanuel Brown on the 67th anniversary of his birth, let us move now to establish that reggae cemetery. This is a subject we've been sharing on for quite a number of years now. Quite a number of years. All right, let's continue. 876-922. Oops, let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
Join us every Sunday for Indian Talent on Parade with Dr. Winston Toland from 5 to 6 p.m. Listen and learn all you need to know about the Indian community, culture, and music. That's Indian Talent on Parade with Dr. Winston Toland, 5 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, right here on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Like the feathers in, leave a roots children. Oh, yeah.
15 minutes, make that 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? And can we share? Let's go to the phone lines. 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon, Mr. Carter.
Yeah, good afternoon to your listeners and your valuable callers.
Thanks on their behalf.
Dervan, the Pentagon, the chief of the Pentagon,
Yes.
asking, he just delivered a message to reporters in Washington. And the first thing he did was to apologize to the President of America for not reporting his prostate cancer treatment to him. And he apologized to the American people. Because he got sick from prostate cancer and had was to do an emergency surgery. And he was missing in action for quite a while.
Oh.
Yeah, did you know that prostate cancer killed more Jamaican men last year than murder?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Why, Professor?
Because I've been hearing about this for decades now.
Yes, but you know, one of the things is that the news, when you listen to the news, and they're telling you about murder, how much people get murder, why they don't say, you know, more men die from prostate cancer than murder? Why they don't tell them that? That's not news.
It's that's by choice.
By choice.
People, depending on how they feel about putting forward an issue from a particular vantage point.
Understand you.
Yeah, certain sensitivities.
Yeah, you know, they say that they have identified the persons who are culpable for the killing of the American servicemen. And they're going to strike targets in Iraq and Syria. So a lot more people going to die. And the Iranians, they say that the Iranians
are culpable and responsible and is to be blamed because their weapon killed the American servicemen when they took up the fragments from the drone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying this now, in Jamaica, where we have so much murder, so many murders, and when you take up the spent shells, you see it made in America, made in the United Kingdom. Why is it that we can't say America is culpable for our murder down here?
Why? Ask the question again, please. Why?
The Americans are telling the world that Iran is responsible and to be blamed for the murder of the servicemen.
Oh.
And they're going to strike Iranian targets in Iraq and Syria. And the Iranians are telling them if they damage any of their assets, they're going to damage American assets in the Middle East. That's what's popping now. Why is it that in Jamaica, when a gunman kills people, and they take up the fragments of the gun fragments and the spent shell, and you see, and the spent shell made in America, why is it that we can accuse America of being culpable for the murder?
That's going to take some doing.
Some doing and some good conscience, some good people don't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen this, Dervan. You see this local government election that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Most of Jamaican people don't understand the role and function of a councillor or a mayor. They don't understand it, Dervan.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when it comes to the welfare part of humanity, the nitty-gritty, the tender loving care part of humanity, like pension, good social living, good living condition, cleanliness and all of those things. Don't is that local government supposed to cater for, Dervan?
Yeah, local government is supposed to be closer to the people than any other government. Yes.
Thank you, Dervan. So I believe time has come because they don't publish one job description for any local government mayor or councillor. All they're talking about razor pay and job description. They don't publish any. You see any job description in the media?
No.
I think the time has come now, effective. Now, we the people who call and radio show and in our communities need to come together and write a job description for our individual councillors based on our condition. What do you think?
By all means.
Thank you,
Let's do it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I will put a proposal now on one of the things that I would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
Some councillors starting with Desmond McKenzie, who announced their date of the local government.
Mm-hmm.
We the people of South St. Andrew, as part of local government minister job description and his councillors, both PNP and JLP councillors in the KCC, we would love to see the Maypen Cemetery clean, spick and span, up to the Dove standard and painting the Jamaican colours, black, green and gold for the pride of the Jamaican people, so that when we're dead, we have somewhere to bury properly in good order. What you say, Dervan?
By all means, yes.
Thank you, Dervan. That's the first thing I'm going to put on. Desmond McKenzie job description. And we need it to be clean within a year of the local government election, before the general election that is due next year. And the second thing I want to put on the job description of all the councillors across the country from Negril Point to Moran Point. You have the building inspectors in your local government authority and a lot of surveyors, both quantity surveyors and land surveyors. Go in the nooks and crannies of the councils and value the lands and the houses in the council and let the citizens know what their net worth is in terms of their housing condition, so that they can know what is the value of their job title, of their land title,
so that they can leave some titles to their grandchildren to help with their education or other development going forward. What do you say about that, Dervan?
Hear, hear, as they would say in Parliament.
I think the time has come for the academia of this country to put it to the political parties what we want as our job description and also job specification, so that we can put these contracts to the test. And you know one of the reasons why I tell you that?
Mm-hmm.
I live in Portmore, see? And I see the condition in Portmore. Portmore, to me, is a ghetto right now, and I don't owe anybody any apology. And one of the reasons why I am vexed in Portmore is because the average value of a house in Portmore, when you go in Waterford, 10 to 12 million. When you come up Independent City, 15 to 18 million. And the condition that Portmore is in, those housing values are going down every day. And you hear what I hear one of the councillors in Portmore say? He glad when them postpone the local government because that helps him to secure a pension. That's what he's saying.
Oh, yeah.
He's considering about his pension. And you know how them get pension? When they serve 2 terms, their pension is sure until them dead.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the condition in which Portmore is deteriorating, a lot of people are outreach over there. Their house value 18 million, but they don't have 18 million in the bank, and they live off of them the correct.
Mm-hmm.
Answer this summing out, Dervan. A lot of breaches in Portmore. Breach. People are down room on them house without contacting the authorities. Like how it's gone over 1 year now. Does the same rule apply for those Portmore people who breach? Similar to what the Water Commission man did?
That's a good question, although I'm sure there might be some people who might want to shut up someone making that kind of a comment.
Well, let me tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
When Portmore become a parish,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to do over the land title from the parish of Glencatchin to the parish of Portmore, these issues will come up.
Mm-hmm.
The people need to know from their councillors and the mayor what will happen to the Portmore people who have breaches from the house that they buy cash.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, my professor. Dervan,
Yes, sir.
the time has come, based on the state of the world right now, the state of the world we are talking about, you know, where black people living in countries like Jamaica need to stand up and ensure that the future of their children are properly protected and secure from the pangs of hell that is about to break loose in the world, yeah? Because it's all about money and land.
Mm-hmm.
Take care, Dervan.
You too. Thank you for the call as usual.
Yes, sir. And thank you for all clarification, my professor.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye. That's it for today's edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We thank you for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. All the best. Take care.
Surely goodness and mercy shall follow I all the days of my life. Yeah. Well, yeah, alright. You have come with love and not with fear. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow I all the days of my life. Indeed, no one, no wish to be with no evil man. For there comes the day when you'll be pleased by the Father's hand. Liverpool children, oh yeah, Liverpool children. Yeah. My head is anointed, and my cup runneth over. Yeah. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow I all the days of my life.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 5 o'clock. News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible. Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
Bye.